Bitcoin has finally broken above $90,000 per Bitcoin, and as of the making of this video, has hit a high of $93,000 per Bitcoin. Ngayon, ang tanong natin dito sa video na to, is Bitcoin back and will it go past $100,000 per Bitcoin o kaya we're still in the bear market? So we're going to look at a couple of things on the fundamental side and also some technical analysis to determine kung saan ba tayo pupunta and if this means that we're back in the bull market. So unang-una tingnan natin yung ating mga fundamental reasons kung bakit nag-bounce sa Bitcoin back to $93,000. This actually coincides with Trump's arrest of Maduro of Venezuela just last weekend. At after that weekend, nakita natin ngayon that the markets are about to wake up and we're seeing the markets react positively to the news. Now, why is the market acting positively towards this news? Kasi number one, yung pag-arrest kay Maduro actually only lasted for several hours. So it wasn't a long, drawn-out military battle, which is very good. Tapos wala namang mga civilian casualties kasi they only attacked military bases when they arrested Maduro. Sunod naman dito is the economic implications of Maduro's arrest kasi now Maduro is out of the picture in Venezuela and the US plans to actually pump billions of dollars into the oil reserves of Venezuela, opening up the economic possibilities of Venezuela to the world. For those that don't know, Venezuela actually has the biggest oil reserve all over the world, bigger than Saudi Arabia, with 303 billion barrels of oil in Venezuela. Although the problem that they have is that their crude oil is actually fairly heavy. Mahirap siyang i-process. Pero kaya ng United States gawan niya ng paraan because of the money and the technology they're gonna pump into the Venezuela oil reserves. And because of these reasons, nakita natin nag-react positively yung market natin. Now, another reason why the market is actually pumping is also because of the Bitcoin ETFs. Pag tinignan natin yung ating Bitcoin ETF chart, you will see a direct correlation between Bitcoin's inflow and outflow to the price. As you can see here, and I've talked about this many times, whenever there is an outflow of Bitcoin in the ETFs, the price actually drops. But whenever there's an inflow of Bitcoin, it actually pumps the price up. And if you look at it, last January 2, there was a net inflow of $471 million in Bitcoin ETFs. And because of that, you saw the price of Bitcoin actually move up. And if we see more inflows coming in for the rest of the week or for the next couple of weeks, makikita mo yung price of Bitcoin will actually start to move up even further. Now, is Bitcoin actually back in the bull market? Let's do some technical analysis with simple indicators para makita nga natin if it's back in the bull market. Ayan, unang-una tingnan natin ating mga moving average. I actually use the 300-day moving average, 200-day moving average, and the 50-day moving average to determine where we're at with the Bitcoin cycle. Ngayon, as I've said in the past, for me, the 300-day moving average shows you the overall trend of the market where we're at, if we're in the bear market or the bull market. Anytime the price is below the 300-day moving average, it's actually a bear market. So pag tinignan mo dito, we're still in the bear market. And to be able to determine if we're in the bull market, it needs to break clean past the 300-day moving average at $103,000 per Bitcoin. And that average is going to keep going up as the price goes up. So it's going to catch up with the price and drive the moving average up even higher. So you're looking at about a little bit over $103,000, $104,000 per Bitcoin that the price needs to go past para malaman natin that we're actually back in the bull market. And we need to be able to do this for at least a couple of weeks. Ngayon, most people actually look at the weekly chart to be able to determine this. So, tingnan natin yung 50-week moving average. And the 50-week moving average, nakikita natin dito that we're still way below the 50-week moving average. Now, there's a reason why I'm using the 50-week moving average in this case. Kasi pag tinignan mo dito, the last time that we were in the bear market, back in December of 2021, the price broke below the 50-week moving average. And it actually tried to go back to the bull cycle. But the problem is this, when you look at this chart right here, makikita mo dito that although it actually went above the 50-week moving average, the next week, it actually closed below it. And then you saw the resistance at the 50-week moving average driving it down to the bear market for the duration of 2022. And the moment it convincingly broke above the 50-week moving average in March 2023, then we were back in the bull cycle. At nakikita mo dito, even if it touches the 50-week moving average, it always closes above it. And this is the first time we've seen it below the 50-week moving average, which tells us that we're still in the bear market. Balik naman tayo ngayon sa ating daily chart so we can tell what we need to do to be able to get back to the bull market. So as you guys can see here, we need to see the 50-day moving average break above the $103,000 per Bitcoin and go past that. Once it does that, then we could be back in the bull market. Ngayon, tignan naman natin yung ating Fibonacci Retracement levels para malaman kung nasaan na ba tayo when it comes to the retracement of Bitcoin. Ayan. So as you guys can see here that Bitcoin has actually retested the 50% mark at 93, almost $94,000 per Bitcoin. Yan, nakikita mo dito ilang beses na umuntog dyan sa 50% line na $94,000 per Bitcoin. Yan, pop tumama dito in December, tapos bumagsak ulit below 38%, and then umakyat ulit to the $94,000 level in December 10, and then bumagsak siya all the way down past the 38% line, and then it went sideways around this level until the start of the year. And then what happened next? Makikita mo dito that it closes above the 38.2% line, and now we are here well inside the area between 38.2% at saka 50%. Ngayon, dahil nandito na yung candle above the 38.2% line, ibig sabihin na to that this is not a dead cat bounce. And we're now about to see one of the major tests right here at the 50% line of resistance. The price of Bitcoin needs to close above $94,000 per Bitcoin convincingly and go between 50% to 61.8%, and that's a price of between $94,000 per Bitcoin up to $97,000 per Bitcoin. Yan yung ating golden pocket. So if it does that and it goes above to the 50% line, it'll actually play around here, and it could actually play around and push up above the 61% line and all the way up to the 78.6%. At pag lumampas to dito, then tuloy-tuloy yan. Pero if Bitcoin actually goes above the 50% line, tapos nauntog dito sa 61.8%, and then tumama ulit dito, and then goes back up to 61 in the golden pocket, and then it breaks below the 50% line, then you could see it going back to the level of about $80,000 to $90,000 per Bitcoin. Another factor to consider, of course, is the volume of trade. Makita mo dito na yung volume ng Bitcoin during the bull market is anywhere between 500 to 600,000. Tapos ano nangyari? Nung bumagsak yung market, makita mo that the volume actually bumagsak din. Sobrang nipis ng volume, going to as low as even 22,000 lang compared to 600,000. Ganyan kababa yung volume natin ngayon. So the volume also needs to pick up to see Bitcoin actually start to go above $100,000 per Bitcoin again. So yun ang mga iba't ibang mga indicators na tinitignan natin ngayon para makita kung saan pupunta ang Bitcoin in the next coming weeks to months and for the first quarter of the year. So for me, there are good opportunities to trade long and to trade short on this one for the leverage traders. And honestly, right now, premature pa talaga para sabihin na we're back. At this point, nakikita ko Bitcoin is still going to be going sideways until nga it breaks the $94,000 per Bitcoin. But unless it does, we're going to be going sideways for pretty much 2026. Because even though there is some short-term catalysts that can actually pump the price up, the long-term outlook for 2026 is still fairly negative, with the global debt rising and even talks of a global reset. Pero on the short term, yes, there's always money to be made. You just have to be very careful dahil of course, when you're trading with leverage, talagang there's a possibility you could lose your money with that. So what do you guys think? Do you think we're gonna go past $103,000 per Bitcoin? O tingin mo we're just gonna be hovering around this range sideways for 2026? Sulat nyo lahat ng comments sa comment section sa ibaba, and I'd love to hear if you have even different opinions or analysis compared to mine so we can compare notes and learn from each other. Salamat sa inyo lahat. Ito si Kristan. Magkita tayo muli.